So I'm at Metro United Way in Louisville, Kentucky, and I do early childhood development work. So what you see here is from last year, our Kwanzaa celebration, and I've been immersed in Kwanzaa preparations for this upcoming month, December the 18th. If anybody's in Louisville, Kentucky, please stop by and help us. I need volunteers. And so around early childhood development, what we're trying to do is we're trying to prepare children for kindergarten. And we're using the Ages and Stages questionnaire, which is a developmental tool that follows children from 0 to 22 months, okay? I'm sorry, 66 months. And the parents administer the questionnaire. So while the parents are administering the questionnaire, they're learning, right? They're engaging that child around their early childhood development needs. Some wins that we've got from that tool, so if a child has balance issues, generally they might not find out until they're in kindergarten, right? And it might have been something as simple as tubes. Yeah, and it might have been something as simple as tubes for their ears, or right. So we're mitigating things that might not have been recognized until a child is actually in kindergarten, connecting them to referral resources and strengthening them in that nexus. So this next slide, oh, how's that work? So this next slide is simply showing the activities. These activities that we do in these spaces, we call them play and learns. It's all about helping parents to get on the developmental level of their small children. And so in those play and learns, we're working to connect them with actual activities that are relevant to those developmental milestones. These are our advocates out of the community. This is Ms. Sapphire on the left, Ms. Twana on the right. So the community we're working in is Parkway Place. It's a housing project, and it's one of the last 2 housing projects in the city of Louisville. And so if you think about the context of that, if you have housing projects in your communities, as they get realigned because of programs like Hope 6, quite often folks migrate to other housing projects that might not be the welcomed folks, right? And so you have violence that comes out of that. And so this is one of the last 2. And we had issues trying to build our program, right? So right now, Ages and Stages has about 250 families. And all of these families are using these developmental screeners with their children. A big win for us, just announced yesterday in our newspaper. We went from 49.3% children being ready for kindergarten to now we're at 54.7% this year, children being ready for kindergarten. And when we started with Ages and Stages questionnaires in the community, we didn't have any penetration. We thought, oh man, everybody's gonna wanna do this with their kids. I mean, what better thing to learn what levels they're on? And what we had to do, we had to actually build trust in the community. So the advocates that live and reside in the community are knocking on doors, coming saying, hey, you're ready for an update on your questionnaire, and working with parents that might have lower reading levels, helping them fill those out, but engaging them. And then our activities keep households engaged as well. So another win that we just had, right here you see trees. So over here, this is a whole group of folks holding on to a tree. This is a little preschooler who's at a tree planting, and there's others working on trees. This young man right here, he is 11 years old, and he became a forester. Because he learned not only how to plant trees in our community, but how to lead others to plant trees. He's an expert. And what we're doing right here, this was called a Heart of Trees. The community decided as a service learning project, a leadership team that came out of this family group, that they wanted to plant trees in their community and beautify the housing project. And so Each tree represents something. One tree represents resiliency, which is a principle that the families have on a large scale. The second tree represented legacy. This family group started from a lady named Miss Darlene Seabrook, and she passed away, and so they wanted to recognize her legacy. And then the last tree represented the future and the hopes of and dreams of these families. So I'm having a good time. I get to hang out and be with these families frequently and watch this work grow exponentially so that these children start off on grade level, eliminate that gap, and don't have to make up and be behind. And that's the work I get to do. So thank you all for listening to me.